we did a little exercise yesterday around the Jimmy Garoppolo conversation. You know, whether he's going to be somewhere else, whether he's going to be in San Francisco. But if you were a fan of your favorite team and you had the opportunity to trade for your quarterback straight up right now for Jimmy Garoppolo, would you do it? Regardless of cap implications, anything, I don't want to get into any of that. If you were willing to trade your quarterback you have now in place to start the season with Jimmy Garoppolo, would you do it? And I honestly came to the conclusion there may be 8, 9 teams out there that it would be an upgrade for them. Is that something you guys see as well? Is Jimmy Garoppolo a guy that...
Well, what are the teams? And let's talk about it.
Let's go. There isn't any in the AFC West. Wouldn't trade him for one guy in the AFC West, right?
Nope.
How about in his own division, right?
Yeah, he's an immediate upgrade in Seattle. I think there's no question about that. He would go in there, and I don't know if they'd be a playoff team at all, but they're not going to be, fighting for a top 5 pick with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, I think, in Seattle. Arizona, I'd rather have Kyler Murray. Obviously, I'd rather have Matthew Stafford.
Clearly, they in San Francisco want Trey Lance, but
Right.
I right now would take Jimmy Garoppolo over Trey Lance because I don't know what I get out of Trey Lance yet.
And I'm in that camp as well, but obviously they made a decision, and they made the decision on draft night last year when they decided or before when they made the trade with Miami to move up, and then they made the decision to draft him. Jimmy G's writing was on the wall.
What's the chance that Jimmy G stays in San Francisco this year?
It's seemingly zero. It's
seemingly zero, right?
It's full Butarski. I mean, they basically already given him permission to seek a trade. Everything they've been saying publicly in the last couple of weeks leads you to believe he's not going to be on the team come week 1.
If you don't find a trade, when you make a statement like that,
he's just going to be deactivated. I mean,
you're ultimately he's going to be released then. I think our team's waiting for him to be released.
I guess. I mean, look, because if you trade for him, you're on the hook for the $25 million. So
yeah,
you might as well just wait for the Niners to cut him, and then you can just sign him for whatever.
If they don't get something worthwhile in a trade, does San Francisco hold on to him for that resource as a backup quarterback in case Trey Lance gets hurt?
I mean, it's great insurance.
It's a pretty penny insurance policy.
But it's kind of like what New England did. Like at one point, Jimmy G was going to make more than Tom Brady, and he's your backup. You can't have your backup quarterback making more than your starter. It's just bad optics. So he's going to get released at some point.
All right. Well, who knows where he may land. Let's keep bouncing around in some different places. How about the AFC East? It's not in New England, not in Buffalo. I could argue New York and Miami would be a step up in those positions. That's why I always thought Miami might be a landing spot with Mike McDaniel in that offense. I think that's well,
I still think Miami's holding out for Tom Brady, to be honest. It's really up to Tua this year. If he's not good, or if he struggles like he has in the last couple of seasons, what is their incentive to keep him when you know that?
Oh, no, there isn't any. I said this, especially after they went out and got Tyreek Hill, right? With Jalen Waddle.
They're stacked. They're ready to win. They have so much talent.
Yeah, there's no excuse at the end of this year if that's the case. Now, the only excuse I could hear coming from anybody, maybe in that side of the camp, is, year 1 under Mike McDaniel's offense. What does that look like? What does that mean? We'll see. All right, let's go to the AFC South. Let's go Indianapolis. Matt Ryan, I think, is a solid position there, especially the kind of offense they run with the play action.
They can win that division with Matt Ryan. There's
How
no
about
question
Tennessee?
about that.
Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis. No, I don't think that's a step up.
No, I don't think so.
Let's jump to Jacksonville. You got a rookie quarterback.
Nah, Trevor Lawrence is the man.
He's the man. But if you were to say right now, without any implications of like future stumbling for Trevor Lawrence, would you trade for this quarterback right now? Jimmy Garoppolo would be a step up, I think, for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville right now. Houston, Davis Mills.
I think Davis Mills is good too.
So do I. That's an interesting division with 2 quarterbacks kind of aging, where you have 2 younger guys that have a lot of optimism and interest moving forward.
I think the team for me, let's just go to the NFC South. I think the team for me, we were just talking about them, is New Orleans. You don't know what you're getting out of Jameis. I mean, he's played 11 games in the last 2 years because of injuries. decision making. I mean, he had 30 interceptions his last full year in 2019. You throw Jimmy G in that offense with Alvin Kamara if he's back, whatever his legal situation is, and then the 3 wide receivers that you talked about before with Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave and Michael Thomas, who we talked about yesterday. That could be a playoff team with Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Leading the Saints offense. TJ, what do you think about that?
So you think Jimmy G's better than Jameis?
He's been better than Jameis.
He's been better than Jameis for a while now, right?
Yeah.
Has he?
He's been to a Super Bowl and an NFC championship.
Yeah, well,
Jameis can't get off the couch.
Has
half the
he
time.
or has the team been there? So we go back to this like quarterback thing.
I'm saying Jameis hasn't played in 2 years.
He played last year though.
Played 7 games.
He had 16 touchdowns and 3 picks, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was incredible. It was
so
incredible.
He played
I'm
fantastic.
I'm in a little disagreement with Chris here. I don't think that's a step up in New Orleans with Jimmy Garoppolo.
I definitely not. Look, Jameis, he had that 30-pick season, but if you watch a lot of those,
He also had 30 touchdowns
he
that
also
year.
had 30 touchdowns. And what if you take away some of those picks, which some were bad plays, obviously, some were receivers running wrong routes. I can't speak on this as well as you can, but I don't think all 30 of those were necessarily his fault, right?
Well, but they're on him.
They're on him. You're right.
You're right,
Yeah.
and that's carried with
Good
him in bullet points, and when we're talking about things, that's a big part of it. So, Atlanta, I would take him over Marcus Mariota. In Tampa, no, not over Tom Brady, right? Carolina, over Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold right now?
I think so.
Maybe. I like Baker Mayfield.
Maybe, yeah.
I like him. I think that Cleveland absolutely did him a complete disservice, and the chip on his shoulder is back once again. Unfortunately, Matt Rule, and we discussed this earlier, I think is in a little bit of a lame duck year, and there's going to be a lot on him to win. And what does that look like?